Hello friends, gonna do some sourdough English muffins today. I forgot to film part of this earlier today when I started this, so all I did earlier was put half a cup of sourdough starter, 2 cups of flour and 1 cup of milk in a bowl, and you mix it up. I do use almond milk. I've made these with almond milk before, so it works. Stir it up, let it sit for 8 hours or overnight. It has been close to 9 now, so we're gonna make our English muffins. Less mess behind me today because I spent all day, or most of the day, doing my room and the living room, so hopefully everything will be put away soon. It's only been 5 days, but still, I hate everything everywhere. I just want everything to be away. Anyway, let's get to it. What up, new angle? Still staring at parts that I am uncomfortable with and self-conscious about, but you know, new house, new angle. It's great. So here we have our starter, 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of milk. It's all nice and frothy. Oh, sorry, I had to close the window. Yeah, we're gonna add our remaining ingredients, which is 3/4 of a cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And that's it. That's all we add to our starter, flour, and milk mixture. Okay, so I forgot to add that you will need cornmeal. It's just the dust on the outside. Sorry if I sound very out of breath. My lungs haven't been cooperating lately. My asthma has been flaring up again. Anyway, you need cornmeal for dusting. It just goes on the outside. I don't know if you've ever had homemade English muffins or anything that's not like just bends, or even, they might even have it, I've never noticed, but like there's like a dusting on the outside, that's cornmeal. So you need that as well. That's just, well, you'll see why when we get further in the video. So to this lovely mixture, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of flour. Get my handy dandy half cup that's always in my canister, plus another 1/4 cup in there. I don't know if I've mentioned, I always keep a half cup and a tablespoon in my flour container, because usually, sorry, I have a message. Usually a half cup is a good, like if you need 1 cup of flour or 2 cups of flour, a half cup is a good thing to have there. And the tablespoons are usually if I'm making like a cheese sauce or some sort of roux. Like 1 to 2 tablespoons of flour is all I need, so that's why I keep the half cup and the tablespoon in there, and they fit nicely down in the jar. I don't have to worry about it taking up much room. There, fit very nicely in the jar, even when the jar is more full. I digress. We got flour, we need 1 tablespoon of sugar, my giant ass 4 kilogram bag of sugar, just to get a tablespoon out. I like to buy the big bags of sugar and the huge like 10 or 20 kilogram bags of flour. Usually, I think it's 20, it's like the really big ones, just because I do so much baking, or I usually didn't a lot in my old place. I mentioned that in the I moved video I just uploaded a couple days ago. But yeah, gonna get back into doing this, so hopefully I will like flood you guys with videos soon. 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So we find our half and our 1/4. I usually like to pour this over the sink because it comes out of this box fast and furious. Three-quarters of a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Not powder. Soda. And then, oh my god, I can't even read my own writing. Oh, I mentioned before that I would like to credit where I get recipes, but I just write them down in my book all the time. This one is written down in my book, but I couldn't find my book earlier today, so I found the recipe. It's from a website or blog or whatever called Jonesin' for Taste. And I've made these, this is my third time making these now, and I love them so much. Okay, so I just washed my hands not long ago, but I'm just going to wash them again just to make sure. And I can't remember if I usually mix this up before I knead it or not, so I'm just going to give it a quick mix before I start kneading it. This is why we wear aprons. Just made a spoon dirty for no reason. Like that I'm right next to my sink now. Or I am from the sink, anyway. Now, I've also realized that if I want to do stuff on the stove, I don't have to do it one-handed and hold my camera and try to do stuff on the stove anymore. I can just set you guys up next to the stove the same way I do on the counter and do things two-handed because my counter goes all the way over to the stove now. Okay, so everything is kind of combined. Still a lot of combining to do. So, sorry you have to listen to me scrape the bowl because I haven't stopped this yet. Anyway, I probably should have put flour down before I did this. So, combine it, then flour your service, and knead it for about 5 minutes, which I'm going to be doing, like, while I'm trying to combine this. Anyway, you don't need to watch me knead. So, yeah, just combine all your stuff, knead for about 5 minutes. So, excuse me while I literally just learned that my phone automatically is zoomed in when I start pictures or videos or whatever. Oh, I have a nasty ass elastic band on my arm. But, yeah, I didn't realize that it automatically was zoomed in, so here we are at a wider angle so you can see what I'm doing. Anyway, cornmeal. You need to prepare a baking sheet. Should have parchment paper on it, but I ran out of parchment paper and didn't check to see if there was any more before I started. So, I just washed a cookie sheet. And you take your cornmeal that the cats so graciously opened for you at some point before you even did your first batch of English muffins. And you just sprinkle it all over your pan. nice layer of cornmeal on your pan. Then you take your ball of dough, flour your counter, slap down your ball of dough. You don't have to actually slap it, but you know. More flour on the top because we're going to roll it out to about 3/4 of an inch thick-ish. I love my marble rolling pin. My grandmother had one. I believe she still has it, but I used to use it all the time growing up. I got this for Christmas a few years back, and it's one of my favorite things in my kitchen. Covered in dough now. Best thing to do when your hands are covered in dough is to just put a bit of flour on them, rub the flour around, it gets the dough off. Doesn't get it all the way off, but it gets it mostly off, and then wash your hands, gets it the rest of the way off. I'm covered. Anyway, I'm going to move our prepared pan over here so I have a bit of room. And we roll out our dough. I may not have needed this for long enough. I put on one of my favorite Disney songs, Lost in the Woods from Frozen 2. That's a fucking 80s banger that they just dropped in the middle of a kids movie, and it was awesome. So I listened to that and a little bit of whatever came on next, which was a song by Ben Platt. So I guesstimated about 5 minutes. It might not have been. It would have been, could have been like 3. But, good enough. Anyway, roll it out to about 3/4 of an inch, give or take. And you will need a glass or a cookie cutter that is roughly English muffin size. This one is, I believe, the size that I always make my English muffins. I gotta stop touching my shirt or not wear all black while I'm doing this. Put a little bit of flour off to the side to put your cookie cutter in so it doesn't stick to the dough. And just cut them out. Cut out your English muffins. Then, one by one, we pick them up. They're going to look, like I said, not like much yet. And we're going to place them onto our cornmeal lined baking sheet. Some might be thinner than others, but that's okay because they're going to get bigger. They're going to get English muffin sized and shaped. I promise. And then, once you get them all on the sheet, you can, I'm pretty sure the recipe says, like, not, not to do what I'm about to do, but I haven't actually looked. Like, I looked at the recipe long enough this morning to see the first thing I had to do, like how much I had to put in and weight, and then I found my own book, which everything's written in like jot note form. But I'm pretty sure it says like, don't just squish all the dough back together and cut out more, but you know what? That's what I do every time I make them. And I've made them twice already and they turned out amazing. So that's what I'm going to do again this time. So I'm just going to rinse and repeat what I just did. Okay, so I got about 15. I say about 15, but I got 15. These are the last two I cut out. They do look a bit smaller, even though they were done with the same cutter. But it might just be where I was kind of like trying to push the dough past its point. Anyway, just kind of like flip them over a couple times in the cornmeal. I'm afraid these last, actually, instead of flipping them, because it doesn't look like it's working very well, I'm just going to dust it a little bit on the top. Like, sprinkle it on. I'm afraid these last two are going to be kind of like dense and chewy because the dough is like kneaded and kneaded and kneaded, and there's flour added to it a couple times from like rolling it out. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is just sprinkle a bit of this on top. A lot of it will come off when you pick them up to put them in the pan anyway, but you just want some on top of each of your muffins. And this looks like a lot of cornmeal waste, but like it is and it isn't. Cornmeal goes a long way. And yes, I'm sure it could be used for something else, but like in the grand scheme of this giant 2-kilogram bag of cornmeal that was the only one I could find at Sobeys, it's not. Anyway, now, sorry, getting out of breath again. You just let them rest now for 45 minutes. A lot of this recipe is just waiting. So you just let it rest for 45 minutes. I'm probably going to go get a shower in that time. I have a little bit of dough left over. I'm going to probably fry that up as a tauten tomorrow morning for breakfast. Anyway, I'm going to let these guys sit for 45 minutes and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to cook them. Okay, so it's been longer than 45 minutes. It's been closer to an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes because I just wanted to sit after I showered. Anyway, got this angle of the pan and it heated up while I was trying to set up this because I believe it was my Eggs Benny video that kind of showed my camera setup, and there was a little pumpkin on top, and I tried to I usually like tape my phone to the pumpkin. Anyway, through the jigs and reels, pumpkin just broke, so I'm glad I still had the English muffins covered up. Anyway, dry pan, no oil, no nothing. I think the recipe says to put a little smear of oil in there, but I don't. And you take your English muffin and you just place it in the hot pan. You don't want to crowd your pan, so maybe do 4 or 5 at a time, or 3 to 4 depending on the size of your pan. Obi stepped on this one when he came to see what the racket was when I broke the pumpkin. That's why the other one is a little flat. So yeah, we're going to do 6, and you literally just put them in and let them heat up. I believe it's 3 to 4 minutes on the side. I'll come back in a minute and let you know when it's ready to flip them. And I might do a handheld just because down in the pan it's easier to do a handheld. So yeah. See you in a bit. Medium heat. They're on the pan, in the pan at medium heat. Forgot to add that. Around like 4 or 5. Medium heat. Okay, so it's been 6 minutes. I reread the website, not just my scribbled down jot notes. It says between 6 and 8 minutes, so it's been 6 minutes. So I'm gonna reach in with my bare hand and flip them over. You can do this with tongs or a spatula. Ooh, should have left that one a little longer, I think. I think I want them to be a little bit more brown. Yeah. Then I'm gonna leave them, well, obviously this one's flipped. I'm gonna leave them the extra 2 minutes before I flip them over. So it's been another minute now. So we'll wait another minute, flip the rest over, and we'll come back. Okay, so they're all flipped now. You leave them for another 6 to 8 minutes. And then put the others in. And yeah, do the same thing. 6 to 8 minutes on either side, and then you'll have delicious sourdough English muffins. Okay, so the first batch is out of the pan. Not quite as brown as I would like, but I've also haven't figured out how to not have the second half just like rounded and get them flat on both sides. I've even tried like squatting them down in the pan, but it's not doing anything. And I said don't overcrowd the pan, but I just put the rest of them in because I am impatient. I'm an impatient person. Anyway, first batch is out. I cut this one. This was the first one that I flipped over. It is like the teensiest bit underdone in the middle, but I bet you it's still going to taste amazing. So I'm going to do what I do the first time, or with the first one. I'm just going to have it with butter and see what it tastes like. Can't butter with one hand, so I'm just going to butter this, and I'll be back. And a taste test. Like I said, this one's a little bit underdone. The other ones were left in the pan a little longer. But even a little bit underdone, it's still delicious. Nice crispy outside, fluffy, chewy, sourdoughy inside. So good. I feel like I should have done this one before Eggs Benny, but I wanted Eggs Benny that day, so I filmed it. Anyway, if like me, you ended up with a sourdough starter over quarantine, because I know a lot of people did, make this. Super easy. The hardest part is waiting. Super easy, super delicious. And then maybe after, if you make these afterwards, make the Eggs Benny. Perfect. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching me eat for the past few seconds. And continue to eat. These are so good. So good. Homemade English muffins. English muffins are the best bread product anyway, hands down. I will fight anyone who challenges that. Homemade English muffins just hit different. So much better. Let me know if you make them here. Instagram at Home Cooking with Jules. I'm an idiot. Anyway, let me know if you make them. Let me know how they turn out. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye-bye.